When is it gonna end? One take 17. Action. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to O2 Productions. I'm David Janzar. This is John Carter. We are independent filmmakers, and today we are in another episode of One Take, and we are talking about movie franchises. Kind of tying into Toy Story 5. No, we haven't seen it yet, but a big conversation around Toy Story is when does Toy Story end? And clearly it hasn't
Yeah,
ended yet, but it brings up an interesting conversation about this franchise as well as many others that we'll talk about today about when is the right time to end some of the biggest franchises that we have seen in movies. So we have a pretty extensive list to go through here. Make sure to comment down
mhm,
below if there's any that we miss or what you think about some of these, and we are gonna see how it goes. One thing that we kind of want to make clear is that we don't want to just look at, okay, what was the biggest drop in quality? Because that's kind of like, I think it makes a more interesting conversation if we also think about it almost as if we are the ones kind of who run the studio or we're the producers,
mhm.
and we're trying to judge, okay, with the knowledge of whatever movie we feel should be the end, does the concept of the following sequel interest us enough and continue the story in the right way without fully acknowledging the quality of the movie? Obviously, that's going to we're going to incorporate it a little bit, but we also want to just look
Right.
at kind of the story cohesiveness, and maybe if the concept's interesting enough, maybe we would want to continue the story if we were the ones in charge. So it's not just a quality
Mhm.
thing. We're trying to take a few things into account. You'll understand it better as we go.
So I'll go with Transformers. So
Okay.
Transformers has I'm actually pretty sure that Michael Bay is coming back to direct another Transformers movie,
Hmm.
supposedly. Um, but I think it should have ended at Age of Extinction,
What number's that?
which is the fourth movie.
The
Yeah,
fourth one, okay. Interesting.
yeah,
How does that one like end? Spoilers for all of these, by the way. We're gonna talk about
yeah.
endings and what happens in the story, of course. So, how does that one end? I can't remember the sequels
Well,
at
that
all.
was the first one with Mark Wahlberg in it,
Okay.
and the way it ends, basically, the five surviving Autobots are like, oh yeah, humans are like doing us dirty and all that stuff, and then I forget if they go to no, I think they stay on Earth and they're just like chilling, and then they try to rebuild. Oh wait, they're okay. So now, all right, now I remember it more. So there was a company that was like building, um, I guess replicas is the best way to say it, with the Autobots that they were killing and trying to make them into like their own kind of like AI kind of thing. And so they dismantle all of those. It pretty much ends how it feels like a conclusion. Like, okay, Autobots, um, they're finally, I guess, free from human like danger and all that stuff. But there's also still good humans that want them to stay. Pretty much the end of all Transformers movies. But it just felt like this was the right time to um, conclude it as opposed to expanding it more.
Okay. I I'm not super invested in the Transformers franchise, if I'm being honest. I only really know the first one slightly well.
Mm,
And so I guess I would say I would leave it at the first one, considering what the sequels became. I think I would be okay with more Transformers movies. I feel like if they just switched up characters more often in terms of like the Transformers
mm,
themselves. The humans are
sure.
mostly whatever in these movies. Um,
Right.
but like if you were to just jump around, like we don't need to see 5 movies with Optimus Prime. Personally, I
Yeah.
I need to use I. I don't need to see 5 movies with Optimus Prime and Bumblebee and so on and so forth. The cool
Sure.
characters, a whole lot of
Yeah.
fun. I'll just leave it at one though for Transformers. I don't have too much
Really. So
else to
you
say.
you would just you would just have it be a one and done.
Yeah, I think so. I just the stories of the
Interesting.
sequels just
Okay.
don't bring enough to the table for me to be like, yeah, this is something that
Mm,
can really, you know, be extended beyond what was told in the first one.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
The first one just
I
had
mean,
the
I
magic.
think yeah, I think the third one's my favorite of the Transformers universe. But
Okay.
yeah, guess we can go to Indiana Jones if you
Indiana
want to.
Jones. I mean, it has to be the third one.
Yep.
Like how can it not
Mm-hmm.
be? The Last Crusade, it's in the name, it's in the
Mm-hmm.
actual story itself. The way it wraps everything up is just perfect. That final shot of them riding off into the sunset,
Mm.
like it's
It
iconic.
feels like a conclusion.
It
Yeah.
feels so conclusive, and they just had to bring it back. And what did they bring it back for?
Yeah.
They brought it back for much older
Shia
Harrison
LaBeouf.
Ford,
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf. No hate to Shia LaBeouf. Back to back Shia LaBeouf here. What a through line.
Mm.
Wonderful. This is cinema. Back
It
to back
is.
Shia LaBeouf here. I honestly didn't mind his character though, to be honest. I mean, they kind of just shoehorned in that
Eh,
he's Indiana
yeah.
Jones's son.
Right.
I kind of like that they brought back Marion because I just really like that character. But yeah, the alien stuff, I'm not a big fan of Crystal Skull. I
Yeah.
just
Nah.
don't think it quite matches the feel of the first three, even though it's literally made
Nah.
by Steven Spielberg. Uh,
Mm.
it's just not the same, and three just ends so perfectly. That's more so the factor is that three just is so perfectly conclusive to
Right.
the trilogy.
Mm. Nah. I totally agree with you. Yeah. To me, the fourth one, um, I believe it's called the Crystal Skull, if I remember
Yep,
correctly.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Yep.
Um, yeah, it just felt like an unnecessary, like, oh, everybody's coming back from like the original and all that stuff. And then we have Indiana Jones's son. You should come see this. Like, it felt like an unnecessary blockbuster. You know.
Mm, yeah.
Let's talk about Alien.
Okay.
One of one of my favorite movies ever. Um, I have not. All right. So I think I should have ended at two. Alien two.
Mm,
Um,
aliens.
yes, Aliens. Thank you. Um, I have not seen three, but based off what I've seen of the concept, it's just like so far from what, like we were saying for Indiana Jones. It felt like so out of place and far from like what the original and like the whole um, Alien franchise started as and what it is as a whole, that it felt like a money grab in a way. I was like, I don't really feel the need for it. Will I watch it? Probably not. Um, but yeah, stop it at Aliens.
Okay. I don't have too much to say here. I've only seen the first Alien movie, and I like it. I think it's really good.
Mm,
And I think I'll just keep it simple and say just stop it there because I haven't seen the
yeah.
others. And I don't know. I've heard of about where they go with aliens. I think it would be
Mm,
less my thing than the first one.
yep.
Um, but I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm a.
sure. I don't know how they tie together story-wise or anything, so I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
very, very weak opinion here, but I'll just say done after the one and done.
Sure. Well, I know that there's always a debate between Alien fans whether the first or second one is better. I am personally a first Alien movie
Okay.
fan over the second. Not that the second is bad, but I do think it's a little bit overrated. But that's a different story. But yeah, I guess we can move on to our fourth pick, and that being Jurassic Park.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
curious what your answer would be for this one.
I am too. Well, again, if we're looking at it from like the producer standpoint, and with that in mind, I would probably stop it. I would have it be a one and done.
Okay,
But
I
it's
figured.
such a yeah, but it's such a big and different idea, especially at that time, that it's almost like you have to continue it. You know, um, based off memory. I think I liked three. I don't think they should have rebooted it with Chris Pratt in Jurassic World. But the second one was disappointing. But without that in mind, I think I would just have it be a one and done. Let it let the um, greatness play out in just that standalone movie.
Hmm. it would be sort of perfect to just leave that first movie with how much of a classic that it
Mm,
certainly is. I'm not a massive Jurassic Park fan. I really like the first
yeah.
one. I've seen Jurassic World. I think that's the only other one. I've seen two and three. It's been a while though.
Mm.
But honestly, I think I think we're good to keep going with Jurassic Park.
Oh, like keep going.
I think they're good with what they're doing. Just go ahead. Go ahead. I think.
Interesting.
I don't
Wow.
think conceptually. I don't know the most recent ones. Again, the most recent one I've seen is Jurassic World, the first one, and
Uh,
it was
yeah.
fine. It's fine from what I remember,
You
and
would have a different opinion if you saw the most recent two,
I've
but
heard it's
yeah.
really bad. I've heard it's really bad. But again, this is not a franchise that I'm super uh affectionate for, I guess I'll just say, for lack of a
Mm,
better term.
sure.
And I know a lot of people who really enjoy just the dinosaur movie going
Mm,
experience, and I feel like that's an experience that I think is good to kind of continue a little bit. I do wish that they'd be a bit more inventive with the story, and
mm.
because I've heard it's quite repetitive and stale.
Yeah.
And um, yeah, besides that, I mean, maybe it'd be nice if it was one and done. It would be because how do you get better than the first one? It would be really difficult. But
Right.
I personally, if it was up to me with the stories of two and three and the most recent ones I can't speak on, but I
Mm.
think they're good to keep going. I think the cinematic experience of Jurassic Park I think warrants it kind of continuing.
Well, I mean, yeah, they are continuing with it with
They'll never
what's her
stop.
name, Scarlett Johansson. So
Is she supposed to be like a regular now
I'm pretty
or?
sure. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
okay.
Yeah, I
Good for
could be
her.
wrong, but
Good
yeah,
for her.
pretty sure she is. We're going to five now, and we're going with some animation. Gotta
Okay.
go talk about Shrek.
Okay. This
So Shrek,
I
it
don't
gets a little
know.
tricky.
Yeah.
It gets a little tricky because of the fact of three, Shrek 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that's where they should have stopped, but with the idea of what Shrek 3 is and turned out to be, it's almost like you have to stop at 2. But Shrek 4 is good. That
Mm-hmm.
like if they just like erased Shrek if they erased Shrek 3 from existence and replaced it with what 4 was for 3, that would have been a great ending. But if you were to end it at 2, that feels almost inconclusive. But I feel like 2 is the right way to do it, to stop it at.
So are you saying two or are you saying four? What's
I'm
the final
saying,
verdict?
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say 2. Yeah,
Perfect. I'm gonna say
yeah,
four.
okay, yeah,
I This is another very relevant one because we are getting Shrek 5, and we shouldn't be
that's
getting
right.
Shrek 5.
Mm.
I think Shrek 5 is just too far removed just to knock that out.
Yep.
It's just too far removed. I think Shrek 4, because it was pretty good, I'm also think Shrek 3 is the weakest of the ones we've had so far.
Mm.
Still okay. And I think on paper, again, if I'm looking at the story of Shrek 3, I can kind of see it, and I also think that Prince Charming, it's nice to have Prince Charming as like the main villain. I think it kind of works. Um, because
Felt recycled. Yeah.
he didn't feel fully realized in Shrek 2, I feel like. I think
Eh,
I think the idea of Fairy Godmother was clearly the main villain of Shrek 2. And
sure.
now with her out of the picture, like if you came up to me
Mm.
after Shrek 2 and were like, "Okay, well, let's Prince Charming still has a chip on his shoulder. Somehow he, works his way back.
Sure.
Like I can see that. Going to find the new
I
king,
mean,
I
yeah.
can see that, how that actually plays out in the movie. Not good.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, but
Shout out
like
Justin Timberlake.
in the second movie, like if it's all because again, Prince Charming is in that. It feels like he had his chance already to like make a statement and be also a villain with Fairy Godmother.
Yeah.
And it felt like in two, you kind of see like, he's just kind of like a wannabe villain to the point where like in three, you almost don't really take him seriously, you know?
Oh no, you never take him seriously. But do you take
Oh
any
yeah.
of the? Well, I guess you take the other villains a little more seriously. Um,
Mm,
but I think it works well enough.
mm,
Yes, Shrek 2 is the peak of that franchise and would be a good spot to stop. But I think
mm,
with the stories they told in 3 and 4, if I were to see it without fully knowing exactly how it's put all together, I would be
Right.
like, let's give it a shot. And then once 4 happened, and it's been what, over a decade since 4, there's no way I'm saying
Yeah.
yes to Shrek
Mhm.
5. Ignoring the animation stuff. I know
Right.
people are talking about the animation. Even ignoring that,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
really
saying
bad.
I don't know what
Yeah.
the story's about, but it doesn't. It's been so long. Like
Hmm.
4 was a good way to stop it. We'll see how Shrek 5 goes later this year.
Yeah, we'll see. Is it
All right,
this year? I thought it was next year. Yeah.
it might be next year. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah, if it comes out. Yeah,
All
we'll
right,
see.
shall we continue?
Sure. Now, let's go with one of the biggest franchises at the moment. Well, not at the moment, but known. Avatar. So, I think it should have been a one and done.
Okay.
Just stop it at one. Um, I thought the first one, it's good. Um, if you were to bring me the plot premise of the second one, I'd be like, eh, it doesn't really entice me enough to really make it, let alone that it wasn't that good. Um, but like, what I'm pretty sure. All right, so I'm pretty sure it came out in 2009, and at that time, what it gave us was like so revolutionary and visually amazing that like it almost felt hard to um, again compete with what it gave us, you know.
Hmm.
And yeah, a lot of people also agreed the fact that like you kind of know what you're getting with an Avatar movie. It's visually appealing. Don't get me wrong, but the movie itself is just fine. You know, like, it's the same recycled story over and over again. They're just like, oh, how can we make the graphics look even cooler than the last one? You know, feels like that's kind of more what they're going for as opposed to developing an actual um, cool and um, broad story. You know,
Okay.
so yeah,
You,
one and done it.
yeah, and you just about have me convinced, almost, to agree with you.
Okay,
As someone who's
yeah,
not seen a single Avatar movie, I must say,
right. Mm.
I'm gonna take the Jurassic Park stance. Let it keep happening. Let's go.
Ah,
Let's go. New
okay,
Avatar every year. I'm just kidding.
no,
Sequels should never be in
okay,
back-to-back years unless they're perfection. Um, they should be much
yeah,
more spaced out than the most recent ones. I don't think they should be just jamming these out left and right. I don't think any franchises should do that, basically ever.
mm, right.
That's a possibly another conversation. I don't know, but haven't seen any of them. If the cool visuals are enough for people, and it clearly is because people are still showing up to theaters for these movies. Let them
Mm,
enjoy the cinematic experience, much like Jurassic Park. I have no understanding of the story and how it all ties together. I believe you when you say that it's kind of recycled. I'm sure it is. And in that case, maybe I'd change my mind if I actually watch these things. I don't really ever
right.
plan to because it doesn't interest me that much. But
You're not really missing anything.
one day I probably will. And I'll have a
Yeah.
stronger opinion. But for now, let Avatar keep coming. James Cameron, have a blast. Just keep, yeah. And
He
I mean,
is. Yeah.
they're still revolutionizing the effects and everything. So
Mm.
I guess that's a cool thing too, that they're at least pushing the medium forward in some way.
Right. That's fair. Let's move on and go with a movie from our childhood, and that being Pirates of the Caribbean.
Hmm.
I think it should have ended at three,
Okay.
which is at World's End.
Was 3 like very conclusive? I don't know. I've only seen the first 2.
Well, I based off memory, it has been a while since I've seen it, but based off memory, not only is it I think the best one, but it also has a lot of um, bits where it can be like, okay, that happens, he's gonna do that. You kind of figure out stuff like, okay, this is how things go about and all that stuff. And also like with the idea and plot of what four became, I'm pretty sure four was the one where nobody was in it except for Jack Sparrow, and then I believe Penelope Cruz was in it. Um, it was really bad. But even just the premise of it, it's just like you can't make Pirates of the Caribbean um, without the other OG cast in it, you know? So it's just like just stop it at 3. Leave it on a good note, you know. And yeah, that's where I leave you with that.
Okay. And I'll back you up with that. I'll say three. Sure. We'll stick with that. I didn't know that so much of the cast left for four. That's a good reason for me to be like, yeah, we don't need to continue this then. Let's
Mm,
not try to make something that it isn't with only a couple returning. So,
right.
yeah, sure. Let's do three.
Okay. Cool. Now let's go to Toy Story, of which Dave talked about in the beginning.
Toy Story 5
Um,
just came out.
it did. Now here's the thing. I have um what I think. Man, I'm so conflicted with Toy Story
Really?
because a little bit. Because here's the thing. My answer is 4, which a lot of people don't already agree with. They think that 3 was a good ending, which it was. But 4 felt like more of a it was good enough and a conclusive enough ending to where like okay, this is a good ending. Like it feels good, even though 3 could have done it better, but 4 feels good. I will say, obviously, I've not seen Toy Story 5 yet, but the premise of it really entices me. It's just a matter of like how they actually execute it is the thing. But it feels unnecessary to do when you have an ending like 4 and 3, you know?
Mm, yeah.
So yeah, I'd say 4 for me.
Okay. That surprises me. I didn't expect that. I thought we'd be in agreement
Yeah.
here, but we're not. I'll go
Mm,
Toy Story 3.
okay.
I
Yeah.
think it's a really, really strong trilogy. You really were able to string together three great movies.
Mm,
And I'm not as much of a, I don't think I'm as much of a Toy Story 3 glazer as everybody else, but it's still really good.
yeah.
I think it's conclusive enough. And with the
Hmm.
concept of four, I'm all set. I'm sorry. I'm a
Okay.
Forky hater, all right? I'll put that on the
Yeah.
internet for the world to
Yeah.
know. I'm a Forky
Hmm.
hater, okay?
That's yeah.
If Toy Story 3 happens and you pitch me Forky, Toy Story
Mm,
4, I'm shutting that down
right.
right away.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's kind of silly. I don't like the character.
Mm,
And also just the story of 4. I haven't seen it in a little while, but I just
right.
not as interesting for me. I think 3 closed it out really, really well. And
Fair. Yeah.
I think that would have been made for a near perfect trilogy, just about.
Mm, interesting. No, I get what you're saying, but I really like the ending of 4 because it's like Woody goes to do his thing, and then the toys go to do their thing with a new kid. So it's like okay, happy ending. Everybody gets kind of what they want, you
Hmm.
know,
Yeah, but the rest
and
of
they
the
go
movie
about
also
their
happened,
business.
so you had to go through the rest of the
Well,
movie to
yeah,
get there.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was good.
Okay,
It's
okay,
not tough, but it was good. Yeah.
okay. All right, fair enough.
So yeah, guess we'll move on to Ice Age. I think another franchise that I really like, and I think both of us grew up with. I think it should have ended at 3, which is Dawn of the Dinosaurs. Um, yeah, I really like 3. I think it had a great ending, even though we're introduced to a new character. I think his name is Buck. What they gave us, and I don't remember if I saw 4, but the premise of 4 felt like they were again deriving from what Ice Age is, because 3 felt like the last um, movie in that franchise that felt like it wasn't trying to be I guess, a people pleaser movie as far as animation. It still felt related to like actual dinosaur related things that happened in that time period. And then you move on to 4, and it's like, hey, let's just throw in a bunch of random stuff in this that will be fun for kids to enjoy instead of like having it relate to actual Ice Age stuff. Um, and yeah, just the fact that it's also a good movie too. 3 is where it should have ended.
So what is 4 about?
I I need to look this up because I forget. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Because I only know the first
Um,
one super well. I've seen the first 3. It's been a really long time. I'm not that attached to this franchise
yeah.
personally.
Okay. Okay. Now I remember it. It's so unnecessary. So 4 is when Scrat, the whatever he is, and then so basically he creates a continental split, and then the main cast have to battle a band of pirates led by, I believe he's a monkey, Captain Gut, to get back home to their families.
Yeah,
So
that sounds
it's
terrible.
just like, yeah, it's just like this is so far from what Ice Age is, and it's just like, hey, let's throw in random stuff in here
Mm.
and make it again a people pleasing movie. It's just like, no, I'm not pleased at all about it. So, you know,
All right,
this ended at 3.
I'll take three. I was between one and done, three, and keep going. I don't know, but considering
Mm,
what you just told me about four, yeah, I'd say three. I'm not that big on two and three.
really
But I don't really remember
interesting.
it enough to really have that much of knowledge. But
The second one is peak. I really like the second one. Yeah.
yeah, so I'll just go three. I'll stick with you on that.
Let's move on to back to some live action movies and talk about a very long lasting franchise, Fast and Furious.
Yep, I had a feeling it was coming. So you just said long
Yeah,
lasting. Uh,
yeah.
where are you gonna be on
I
this? I think I know, but
I'm actually pretty surprised after deep thought of where I'm gonna end it, and it is gonna be Fast and Furious 3, Tokyo Drift.
oh, that is not at
Yeah,
all what I expected. I was waiting for five or
mm,
seven. I was waiting for five or
nah.
seven there.
Even though 5, 6, and 7 are awesome movies, they are just so far from what um Fast and Furious is. Like if you compare
You
Fast
think
and
so?
Furious 1,
Well,
yeah, if you compare Fast and Furious 1 to actually 4 might work, but especially 5, 6, and 7. Um it's 5, 6, and 7 is when things go off the rails and they're like, oh, we're now like almost like superhumans where we fight crime and battle like I don't even know like I'm just gonna say like space demons and all that stuff. Like, it's the most random stuff. Um, so far from the original, which is about street racing,
hmm
and now they're like driving tanks and doing spy missions. Even though that stuff is very entertaining and enjoyable, realistically, I think 3 is um, a good leaving to mark to leave off of because 3 you still have um, the street racing part aspect of the franchise as a whole, and then of course in 4 you get a little um, off the rails about that. Even though the original cast is not in it, of course, um, it still has it still feels like this is Fast and Furious. Um, could they have spin-offs unrelated to it? Sure. But as far as Fast and Furious franchise, 3 is, I think, a good mark to leave off of.
okay, interesting. I do feel like that's kind of weird to do that right with the cast changing up so much, and it's a pretty big departure.
Slightly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
but
mean, in 2, you only have Paul Walker and the introduction
yeah,
of Tyrese, and I believe Tech also, or the Tech guy. Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna get to it. But yeah, it's interesting how this franchise has evolved. I think franchises can
Mm,
evolve over time. Yes, I agree that comparing one to five, six, and seven is weird and doesn't work, but at the same time, I do feel like the franchise progressed in a natural way where they feel
hmm
like five, six, and seven is kind of its own trilogy almost, right? In a way? Or
In
does
a
it start at
way. In a
four? I
way.
forget.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to do that, for me, it kind of works. That being said, like it works for other people, and I think it can work within a franchise. That being said, the way they do it, I don't think is good. I'm split two ways here, but I think I'm pretty confident with what I'm gonna say. I'm split between let them keep going and stop it at one, and I'm
Mm,
stopping it at one. I
mm,
would almost
yeah.
say let it keep going, kind of for the Jurassic Park, Avatar sort of deal, where it's like, okay, if people are enjoying it,
Yeah.
but honestly, I don't care for where the franchise went. I
Mm,
think that I don't see how you can really continue the narrative of the very first one. I think it's perfect for what it
right.
is. I like the
Mm,
idea of the spin-off sort of thing, maybe. Or maybe if you
sure.
continued the characters doing the street
Yeah.
racing stuff, that's what I'm at Fast and Furious
Mm,
4, which is obviously long gone, basically after the first one, if you ask me. Third one
mm,
definitely has a lot.
yeah.
And two has a good amount too. But I would just stop it at one. I think it's
That's
good as it
fair.
is, and I just don't see how people were able to conceive a further story beyond the first one. But they found a way.
Yeah.
But
They did it.
if
They
it
did
were
it.
up to
Yeah.
me, I would be shutting that down because I don't
Mm,
think two's that great. I think the franchise just mostly goes down. I mean, there's ups and downs
mm,
as you go
yeah.
through the sequels, but for me, the first one is probably one of the best. I don't know if I'd say it's the best for
Mm,
certain, but might as well just leave it there. I just don't think it's worth being a franchise.
fair enough. Okay. That's fair. Um, yeah. Let's move on to an oldie and go with Die Hard. Now, I should say that I have only seen the first Die Hard movie, but looking at the premise of the second one, I see no reason for it because the exact same basically the exact same premise of the first movie, and I'm like, why even make it? It when I
Mm.
can just watch the first movie. Like I could just watch the first movie and then rewatch it and call it Die Hard 2, you know? Um, but yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, and as somebody who's seen all the Die Hards, I'm going to agree with you. I think
Yeah.
Die Hard's a one and done. I think the
Mm,
concept of two is not intriguing enough. Although three is a
no.
step back up from two, and three's pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't think John McClane is that interesting of a character to deserve an entire franchise around him. I think he's really cool in the first Die Hard, and that totally works, and it's an awesome movie that's also really hard to top. So why not leave it as it is? Let John McClane have that one underdog story where he's able to defeat Hans Gruber and all the baddies there. And yeah, I think that's good as it is. And I think the rest of the franchise kind of loses like the Christmas spirit of the first one a little bit more. And so I think it adds up to probably should have just stayed with just the one movie.
All right. So next one we want to talk about, second to last one actually, is going to be Kung Fu Panda. So I really like this franchise for the most part. Um, I think it should have ended at three. I don't think there was a need to make a fourth one, or if they're making a fifth one, who knows? Um, yeah, three felt like a really good conclusion. You know, you see him reunite with his, birth father and all that stuff. You see him realizing his true potential as the Dragon Warrior and everybody coming together and all that stuff. It felt like, okay, this is a good ending. There's no need to really expand more in, um, especially with the premise and uh, in mind what four turned out to be. But the premise of four, sure, but like, you don't, the Furious Five is not in it. Um, so it's already like, okay, this is not, even though Kung Fu Panda is obviously about Po the panda, you need the Furious Five in there for it to be a Kung Fu Panda movie. So with that already at in in mind, it's just like, all right, stop it at three, you know?
Hmm. Okay, this one I'm split on again actually,
Mm,
and I I've only seen the first two. What this is making me
yeah,
realize is I've not finished any of these franchises. I think what happens for the
sure.
most part is once I get to a movie that like kind of drops in quality, I kind of just give up on these movies, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
And I thought two did that a little bit,
Really?
which I do think is a bit of a hot take
Wow.
apparently, according to a lot of people.
That is that is a hot take.
I don't know. I might have to rewatch it, but honestly, and with that being said, I know we said we're not fully taking into account quality, but honestly, just from a story level, I'm actually just gonna say let's leave it at one with Kung Fu Panda. Like,
Mm,
especially with what you're saying.
interesting.
I didn't realize that three is like he fully realizes his power as the Dragon Warrior. What do you mean
Well,
by that?
there's like this whole thing at the end of three where it's like, okay, that's pretty cool. Let's just end it there. It feels like okay, he's got the stuff to um do the stuff and all that stuff.
Does he have like
But
more
yeah,
better abilities or something, or like he?
it's more of like I guess I call it like he's reached Zen, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Um,
All right, I guess I could see that a little bit, but for me, it's like the first one
yeah,
kind of wraps it up well with the fact that, oh yeah, the Dragon Scroll's empty, and it's like
mm,
you can become, whatever you're seeking to
right.
be, or
You
whatever.
write your own story, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Thank you. That's a better way to say it.
hmm yeah,
I think the Tai Lung story is perfect.
hmm
I don't think that the concept of two is bad at all. But I don't know. I personally just don't. I'm not enticed for more Kung Fu Panda beyond the first one. That's just me. I think they played out
interesting.
their story,
Mm,
and I think it's really good with that. And two's still good.
wow. Yeah,
Yeah, I might have to go back to Kung Fu Panda, but I'll just say leave it at one.
yeah, fair enough. All right, so we're gonna go with our final pick here, and it is also one of the um, biggest movie franchises right now or ever. Mission Impossible.
Hmm.
Where should it have ended? I think it should have ended at Fallout.
Yeah, figured figured you'd say that.
Um, I think Fallout was the perfect ending. Um, Not that the last two were bad, but they weren't great compared to um, the rest of the franchise. And six, it felt like it felt like the perfect ending. Like he's reunited with his actual wife. He saves the world from actually being entirely obliterated, which is his biggest mission ever yet. Um, and obviously, when he saves the world, it's just like, okay, boom, that's it. He saves the world. He's finally done, even though he's really not. Um, but we don't. They could have been like, all right, we don't see that afterwards because he's like getting older and all that stuff. Um, but yeah, everybody, you get all the characters together. They're still alive for the most part, and yeah, just really like that ending. And with the premise of, I believe it's seven and eight, it's just like sure, but like I don't see a need when six had just it was just so good. But yeah,
Okay. See, I don't remember Fallout being that conclusive though, and that to me, I don't know if that felt like a proper send off. You know what did?
it's fair, but like
Yeah.
it to counter it before you even start is the way the actual franchise ended. To me, it doesn't feel like an ending. It feels like okay, they're gonna do another mission, even though there's like a bunch of new people and they're like walking off in different directions to kind of sim- symbolize like okay, they're disbanding and this is the end. To me, it's just like okay, something else is gonna happen, you know. But like with six, it's like okay, he saved the entire world again. This time, like literally. So yeah, continue.
I think he saved the whole world again in the final reckoning, which is also where I'd end it. I think now is the time to end Mission Impossible. I think the final reckoning, it's in the name, final. I think it feels
Yeah.
final enough, especially with that those ending moments. No, is the franchise ending on a high? No, absolutely not. Would it
Mm,
have been ending on a higher point with Rogue Nation or Fallout? Absolutely. But
yeah.
with what they did with Dead Reckoning, if you were pitching it to me and Tom Cruise wants to go do it, more crazy stunts, I'd be on board for that, even despite
Mm.
the slight downfalls of the more
Mm.
recent ones. But I
Yeah.
think I think now's the good time to properly say goodbye, which is what I think they did in the Final Reckoning. Jury's
We'll
still
see.
out
Yeah.
on whether that is the case.
Mm. Yeah, we will see. Um, but yeah, I think that's where we're gonna leave it off on for this. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Dave, if you have any words of wisdom to end off on.
I'll just reiterate again. Let us know what franchises we missed and some of the ones we mentioned. If any of them you have an argument for a different one or the same one you agree with us, let us know and make sure to tune in next time on One Take.